Hi friends. For you intuitives here, I have Moonlight. So you get the two of us, not just the one. Um, okay. Earlier today, I just got the last of the 5 videos, the 5 journals up that came on the 22nd. What a day that was, huh? And if you'll notice, it was the day before the close of the Tracina. Things do tend to come together on those last several days. We're in a brand new Tracina now, and it always starts out with a 1, and the theme for it will be offering or water used in sacred ways. So I really enjoy gaining from the Mayan study of cycles. Where they got the info originally, we don't know. Chances are good it was brought in from some other civilization. Does it matter? I don't think it does. We live in challenging times. Boy, that last video I put up really surprised me. I was as empty as I've ever been when I clicked record. I didn't know if there was anything, much less what. So it's almost like inner self or whatever it is kind of tricked me there. It was a pretty intense subject matter. And I know a number of you are enjoying some of the links that were provided in the written journal that went with it. We live in challenging times. Here we are in that video and those attachments discussing ETs, end times, arrival of beings from elsewhere, being introduced to the demigods, which is something the Andromedans say that after the New World Order is established, the whole one world thing, that they will introduce us to the demigods. I don't know. Listen to the things for yourself, I think, is the biggest deal. Okay, so how do we navigate such crazy times? Here we are looking at and considering things like that when many of our brethren don't even believe that UFOs exist. I suppose they must not be Catholic, huh? Since the Catholic Church has given their official imprimatur, their official blessing to God having created beings elsewhere, otherwise known as ETs. It's just a bizarre time. And nobody knows which way the frog's going to leap, you know? And so there's all of this, you can hear it, the mental jangling and wrangling going on in so many of us as people wonder and try to prepare and all the rest of it. What my heart's telling me and I'm doing is get down to basics. Get right down to the core of things. This whole thing with standing at your life review and looking at your life through those eyes as if you're up there, not answering for it exactly, but seeing with that kind of perspective. It's 360-degree perspective is what it is. You get to see not just yourself in the first person, but you get to see in the third person, all around you, what the results were of you and your presence. We don't know if we're ascending into, let's call it 5D, into the higher dimension. If we are, we don't know if we're taking our body with us or if we're taking our planet with us, or the Syrians say we're taking the solar system with us. Actually, they say the solar system is taking us with it. You know, there's all this talk of Nibiru, and even though the comet disintegrated so interestingly, you know, the one that was supposed to be Planet X or Nibiru just was gone in a puff of dust, more or less. Now there's supposed to be something in the Kuiper Belt that's been discovered that's 3 times the size of planet Earth, and maybe it's the alternate planet. People, when they believe something, will look and look and look until they find it, not knowing that they're creating it. And so I'm really glad the more of us wake up, the better. We don't have control over the whole shebang. I guess we're not meant to. And so it's good that we don't. But if we turn the focus inward, pull it back, and everybody turn the focus on self, for starters, and leave all of that crazy shit, alone. Just drop it. Unimportant. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a link to a Mooji video. You may have seen it. It's titled Nothing, Nothing, Nothing. And many people won't understand it, but I'm trusting that a good number of people who follow my vlog or my journals will get it. It's all nothing. When we look at this life and basically everything in it from that perspective, from those eyes, I mean, think of it, folks. The minute we leave our body in the NDE, there's a detachment just like that. It's amazing. There is an instant shift in perspective. And suddenly, it's much lighter. It's much easier. Our whole focus shifts. My suggestion is that's closer to who we are than this is. Besides which, that's easier and more fun. You know, so let's blend the two. Since we're here and not there, I'm not suggesting we all go off and suicide or play the flatliners game. That's not it at all. It's just that we can learn so much from that, and we're meant to. The NDE, the near-death experience, wouldn't be such a phenomena in this century if it wasn't there just for this purpose. It's there for us. It's time. This is a part of our awakening. And for those who are inward focused and centered, you have eyes that can see such things. Everything is a blessing. You've heard me say that. Everything is also talking to you. Everything is a conversation, self with self. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, I think a lot of us have learned to look at our dreams that way. It's a conversation we're having with ourselves. Mostly in a dream, everything in it is you, and you're projecting yourself out in order to try to show yourself something. Now, we do have a lot of fun on the horizon as far as reuniting with our, what Dr. Michael Newton calls our soul family. The ones we've traversed the eons with, you know, lifetime after lifetime, the dear ones, not just in this life. And we have guides, spiritual guides that work with us. We have our own dearly beloved inner self or higher self, which we've been distanced from as we walked our miles in these particular human shoes. It's been so challenging. A lot of us are really battle weary. So, you know, we're kind of raggedy around the edges, and things are getting crazy, and every day they just seem to get crazier or stranger. And on the outside and the inside, changes are coming on the inside where we don't even know ourselves. You know, what used to be a faithful, reliable grocery list all of a sudden is just blah. And your tastes are changing, and everything is just in this spiral, this tightening spiral of intensifying change. Well, you know, let's cut everything back to basics. I'm going to say number one is have fun. Let's all give ourselves permission to enjoy whatever it is. Why not? You know, it doesn't have to be miserable. It really doesn't. There really is a way to ride on the top of the wave instead of being pummeled beneath it. And we can enjoy even the challenging, even the painful parts. I mean, I didn't know it, but I learned it in a video that I did recently when I was having that endless trouble, and the computer troubles were just a small slice of it. And I found myself having fun, not in spite of it, but kind of because of it. It doesn't make sense to the mind. Give up on the mind. You know, the mind's done its duty. It's done fine. Come on, it's time for heart now. It's time for, I don't know what to call it, spirit, inner being, words. Pretty soon we won't need words. We have better ways to communicate. But meanwhile, we're kind of going through the ringer here. What to do? Okay, so as we strip down to the bare minimum, I think the biggest thing of all is to let go of all attachments. And that's Mount Everest, but that's okay because we're divinities. Each and every one of us is divine, in spite of the fact that we forgot that. It's bizarre. I'm telling you, our higher dimensional selves are ruffling. You know, they're just having great big guffaws at our expense and with us, not at us. This really is funny. And I'm waiting for more and more to reach the point where you too begin to see it. Your heart vision will show it to you. But we have to keep stepping out and stepping. It's like we're an onion and we're losing shell after shell after shell after shell after shell. And the shell, that was the outside of us. That was what we presented to the world. That's who and what we thought we were. And it's gone. Where did it go? It doesn't matter. Here goes the next one. And it's like, oh my God. How to keep up? I don't know. Don't try. Don't try. Instead of how to keep up, how to enjoy. How to enjoy. Attachment is the thing that causes pain. And of all those on the planet, I think Gautama Buddha got it right. And you know, there have been a lot of Buddhas, by the way. They don't just have like one Jesus Christ. There's Siddhartha Gautama, and there's Manjushri, and it's endless. There are many Buddhas. But the teaching, the Eightfold Path, is and the whole concept, he saw through it. He saw through the veil, or the veil lifted for him, and he saw the cause and the core of suffering was attachment. Now, I'm not a Buddhist. I can't speak properly for it. I am so on the fringe of that. I mean, you know, I'm just a dilettante. So feel free to correct me if I overstep. In my mind, I associate detachment with what he saw. I see it happening. This stuff that kind of comes through me, my path also kind of comes through me. And I learn things by watching myself in the midst of it. And I'm watching, and it's how I'm waking up. And it's working. And it's working really well. And it's a lot of fun because when the mind is in charge, it's stressful. And that makes sense. It's the beta brainwave thing. I mean, that's the mind, you know, in its regular everyday mode. And it's not the best one for reaching higher consciousness, for being multidimensional. It's not the way for that. And so we're transcending. Or we're being transcended. I don't know. I don't know. The language kind of collapses in on itself. Because everything's a verb. Everything's an is. And it's not like there's one thing doing something to another thing, because there's no separate things anymore. Things for us are coming into this oneness. That's the underlying nature of it. And the emptiness, that's the internal nature of it. The empty atom. And so that everything around us is talking to us. We have to let it all go, though. If we can't let it all go, we can't hear the ongoing conversation. I think we're getting closer and closer to being able to at least perceive, to be able to sense our spiritual guides. I know I'm starting to. And I think that's really awesome. And so it's not just, previously I looked at it like, I know that all of life is a conversation with me. I think the first time I ran across this concept was in Castaneda's books, Don Juan, the Yaqui Indian Brujo. I don't know the words right. Carlos Castaneda, I think, in his books. So we're talking, I think, back in the 70s. But it's the way of, and it's the Native American understanding that things have meaning. And you can read the signs. It's not just that you're trailing the animal and you're reading the animal signs. Everything is giving you signs about your life. We're all reading the 1111s and the 222, 333. We're all reading the synchronicities. For whatever reason, these are the signs that are breaking through fairly universally. I mean, not completely, but do consider in the Revolutionary War, I think I've heard that it was like 4 to 6% of the population participated and the rest didn't. Well, that's kind of a shock. So look what a small percent can do. Create a country. Change things radically. We're more than 4 to 6%, friends. We really are. And especially when you look at who's incarnated in the young bodies running around today. We've got some real star power here, some real fire, light and spirit. And so things are getting ready to rock. And we don't know in what way. And it's funny because I don't think the ET contingents that are hanging out around us and helping us, and even those ones that are trying to give us a hard time and still keep us as their livestock, so they can milk us for our energy and keep our frequencies nice and low the way they like them. The whole thing that's going on. I don't think those beings really know what's ahead either, even though they can time travel and all the rest of it. I think we're going into uncharted waters here. And it's kind of fun, don't you think? So how much can you let go of? Can we make letting go the theme? Let go and enjoy. Whatever it is, if it's bothering you, let go and enjoy. Let go, step back and enjoy. And when it gets out of whack enough that doesn't work, then put your life review glasses on and look at whatever it is through your life review. And I guarantee you it's going to shift. And things just don't mean what we think they do. What they think we do. Honestly, everything is shifting so much. Sometimes I get dizzy with it. And it's fun. It's fun. I mean, I think the theme of the whole thing is called Lighten Up. Doesn't that kind of encapsulate what I'm saying here? Lighten up. All this stuff that we think is so crucial and so critical and so important. I mean, what if the whole planet, let's say, at a minimum, the planet is ascending with us? Well, if that's the case, then it's not going to be in 3D anymore. So it may well be that the whole surface and everything that's on it as a part of this transition into the higher dimensions might fry or some weird thing, you know? I mean, it that which isn't higher vibrational can't come along. So if you want to look at it that way, we want to let go of everything that's not higher vibrational. But it would be kind of funny, all of this save the whales and the forests and all of this kind of like, I don't mean to put it down, but all of this effort that's being made that seems so important, and then everything just fries on the way up, and it's like, oh my God, what do we make of that? Well, as long as we can be doing those things, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, do what lights your fires. The challenge is not to be attached. So that when it maybe does go up in smoke, it's like okay with you. It needs to be okay with you so you don't lose your balance. Weird things are getting ready to happen. I think there's enough out there that we're going to start seeing, and we already are seeing things that the previous generations never saw. They didn't see rods, they didn't see orbs, they didn't have these experiences. And there are so many UFOs being seen now, it's ridiculous. Apparently the deal is night vision binoculars or goggles or infrared or whatever. You know, the people that want to put out a few bucks for the technology, apparently you can see these things anytime. Well, okay. Oh my God, you know, the one that bugs me now, if there's one thing that I have found that bugs me, that's my current thing, and it's always shifting because you don't hold too tight. The thing that's bugging me right now is I have known pretty much ever since I was young that we carry around in our being, in our aura, in our consciousness, in our body, I'm not quite sure how, we carry entities. We carry thought forms. We carry all kinds of stuff that if you're not clairvoyant, you don't see. And these are consciousnesses. Some of them are actual beings. A thought form can grow if you are like compulsive on this one kind of thought. You're creating something there, and the more you think about it, whatever it is, you're building it, and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing, and everything is electromagnetic. And so it's going to magnetize as you walk through a crowded theater. Other things that other people are carrying that are at that wavelength that maybe aren't quite as big and strong, like a magnet, they're going to be drawn to your thought form, and it's going to grow that way and grow and grow and grow, because you're giving it a lot of magnetism. You're making it grow. Eventually, something like that can grow to the point where it develops a consciousness, like it's got a conscious awareness. And so there's that kind of thing, which is a thing, a critter, an entity. But there are also actual beings. I mean, that's what the Alex Collier message was. That's a small part of the Alex Collier message from my previous video, the 5th from 522, where the Andromedan said, you know, these things have been hitching a ride with you. I think he said that these beings have been knowing that this change was on the horizon, and they've been working really hard. They want to find a way to make it through. I don't know why they can't make it through on their own. I don't know why they need a host. I don't know. Are they totally parasitic? I don't know. But that's the thing that's bugging me now, because I'm ready to be done with it. And it's bothering me. I'm allowing it. okay? I'm letting it bother me that I can be host to things that I don't know about, I don't feel, I don't sense, that can live their life out in me and on me, altering the natural flow of my consciousness and my energy. And see, I'm working through the fact that that is looking like it's something important to me. Now, I know it's not. Nothing's important. You're going to love nothing, nothing, nothing. And I'm going to say it's a prescription. Whenever things are getting to you too much, I want everybody to download nothing, nothing, nothing. It was sent to me by a friend in Germany, and I'm grateful. Because in itself, it's an attitude readjuster. It's time to strip down to the bare minimum. Let go of attachments. Nothing can be important to you. What's the bare bones minimum for you? Who are you? What is at your core? What are the most important things of all to you? Across not just this lifetime. I mean of all. You're not just this lifetime, so expand beyond that. What are your core beliefs? What are the most important things that you abide by, or that you would choose to abide by if life were other than what it is? Said very poorly. But if we can all do this work of stripping it down to the bare minimum, we're going to be in the best shape to sail through what's ahead. And to the extent that it might batter and beat us up a little bit, if we've already detached like this, if we've already recognized that nothing, 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 we can actually enjoy it. You know? Instead of having a hard time. When we have a hard time, it's because we've made the hard time. We're doing that. We're the creators of our own lives. Let's start looking at this. Thanks for listening.